My main connection to Lynn was always actually a personal one, because she worked with my father when she first entered the engineering field. Her firm in Rochester was doing some energy modeling work, energy analysis work, and she engaged with my father, who was on the West Coast, and so they became fast friends. And Lynn, through some of the people that she met through my father, became a pretty active person in ASHRAE on TC 4.1.
You know, I first became aware of Lynn because she was occasionally crossing paths with my father, who was a consulting engineer and had also been the editor of HPAC.
She was a consulting engineer, so she was a principal in her firm, as I recall.
That's true, she was,
Well, she did a lot of energy modeling for large-scale campuses, as opposed to just for a single building.
She was very interested in high-performance building and in green buildings early on, and really had sort of a deep philosophical belief that that was the right thing to do, and she was progressive in using simulation as a way of achieving better outcomes.
She was very involved in energy modeling and putting together energy analyses that would predict the outcome of different alternatives. Her undergraduate degree had been in mathematics, so she was probably better equipped than a lot of us to deal with those models.
It's a very interesting background to have, mathematics and environmental in the era of sustainability.
and a lot of things we do today with energy modeling programs and all she started. That's one of her big impacts.
Lynn was a very big picture person, but at the same time, she was very detail oriented. She was really always thinking about how what we're doing at headquarters was going to impact the people out in the chapters and out in the regions.
She had a great sense of what needed to be done and a great sense of how we do things and do things the right way that I admired.
Her ability to relate to both technical people as well as people who were, maybe non-technical or involved in other fields in ASHRAE was just really incredible. I mean, she just had an ability to understand and be engaged with anybody that she ran into.
Well, I can say that she loved canoeing and kayaking. She loved Subarus, I know that, and she would love to go to the outdoors. She swam every day. We were in the executive committee retreat in Sedona, Arizona, and Jim Fields had rented a convertible, right? So Lynn and Neil and Jim and his wife went out, and she needed a hat. So I just happened to have a hat, but it had Cigar Aficionado on it. She refused to take it. She wouldn't wear that hat, even though no way it was seen. It didn't make her. She didn't want it because the symbol was wrong. She might get it in a picture with that hat on. So I had to go find another hat for her.
There was a core group of about 4 or 5 of us who would always go out to dinner together during these meetings, and we've been doing it now for 20 plus years. And she always made a point of joining us, and it was always special to have a connection to somebody who was obviously climbing the ASHRAE ranks, but joining those of us who are just doing the daily grind work in an outing. So she and Neil were always incredibly gracious and welcoming that way. So it was always they always had a special place for us in RTC.
Lynn always wanted to have the latest technology that was coming out, and we would often start out meetings on XCOM before we really got going, chatting about who had the newest Kindle or smartphone. So she was an early adopter of that sort of thing, which I think was something that suited her well. And she was also a very avid reader. The fact that she was interested in Kindles as soon as they were available was because she was a voracious reader and waiting for planes on planes with all the travel she was doing. Another thing that she was a geocacher, which is a very interesting hobby where people hide canisters with logs in that you can sign all over the world, and you can search for them on your phone by GPS coordinates. And she both liked to find them and she liked to hide them. After Lynn passed, my wife and I met up in Rochester for the services, and she had driven up from Pennsylvania. She's also a geocacher. On the way back from Memorial, she stopped off and found a geocache that Lynn had hidden, which I think was a very nice touch.
I admired her a lot. She came up and she was the first woman president, so that's a very significant thing in ASHRAE, and that sort of broke that barrier that was there. And now we see we've got women coming up and women challenging for that, and I think that was a very good signal. I told people that I didn't want to be the only society in the world that didn't have a woman president. I was really upset about that because I had a young daughter and I wanted her to have the opportunity to go to the top, and Lynn was a symbol of that.
It was very symbolic, and as already been mentioned, it really inspired a lot of the young women in ASHRAE.
Let's start with the fact that she was the first woman to become president of the society in what we count as over 100 years of its existence. And that was really one of those, I think, glass ceiling breaking moments for ASHRAE that I think has opened the door to lots of things. And to succeed not just as a woman president, but as a president.
And that was Lynn to a T. I mean, she was never said no to anybody. She was always willing to engage, always willing to try new things. But Lynn was just a wonderful spirit. I mean, she really always smiling. I think that's part of what made her such a great president.
She would be also proud of the fact that we've made such great strides taking ASHRAE around the world.
I think that's her legacy, is that start to break down whatever distinction people might have in their minds between men and women in this profession. The sooner that goes away, the better, in my opinion.